organizations effectively foster a culture of continuous learning among employees? And what role do you think does technology play in enhancing the learning experience for the learners?
As all of us mentioned, and especially so many avenues coming up, you can enable everything, every opportunity for people to learn, or everything is available on your platter to learn. But how can you retain them? With a what you call a continuous learning culture, how you can make your employees to stick back to your company and contribute that. Very important point is encourage a growth mindset where mistakes are viewed as opportunities for learning and improvement. So don't blame when they try to implement. Don't kill the innovation is what we call it as. Give an opportunity at every level for creativity and innovation. Give them an opportunity to learn and implement new things that will help, even though I don't have a specific role to deploy a person. For example, if I train them on the Gen AI new tools, and I may not have any immediate business available with my client to make them to work, but give them a platform, give them an environment, and allow them to implement those things, allow them to make mistakes and practice. This will create a kind of a ownership and the what you call a good binding with your organization. This itself will be a great retention. Means people may not think, oh, they are also developing me, also opportunity, giving me an opportunity to stay back and implement, practice that learning in my environment. A simple example, Vivek, we did almost around 60 plus employees. We trained them on enterprise architect roles. And we may not have immediately the role called enterprise architect where I can deploy them. But if they definitely add that those skills, what they learn in their profile, it is easy to get picked by many organizations because they'll search in the Naukri.com as an enterprise architect. So it was a big challenge for us to retain that talent, which is really put a lot of investment, lot of efforts on learning. Yes, and give them an opportunity. So creating an internal opportunity, creating hand leadership involvement may help us to retain those people is what I feel. Yes, so it is an integrated everyday work. We need to make them to feel they have an opportunity to implement and practice that. Rewards recognition is one which you called out. Reward people who learned effectively, not with a negative approach. Don't punish for not learning, instead of reward people when they learn it. These are some things will definitely help a good retention. And technologies, as we all are speaking, there are many options which are coming up, will help us to train our people, like virtual reality, mobile app, as she mentioned, the reading a book over the what you call video audio books, as gamification methodology. We are planning to train a Gen AI leader dashboard every week, publishing it on it and releasing that week module, so that people who complete, there will be an end of the week, there will be a gamification activity, and people who completed will participate and they can see their scorecard. That itself will interest them to do. I have not yet done it. I'm talking to many vendors to implement this, working on putting up that platform as of now. So there are many avenues is what I can say. I practically what I do is what I'm trying to explain it to you.
Great.
So, if you're able to, as an organization, if you're able to answer the question, what's in it for me? Right. I think that's a great story, or that's a great, I mean, lack of better word, carrot for people to hold on to, right? And this is something which we have seen, which we have done in our organization, in the current organization where I'm functioning, and we've seen results, right? So what we have done is we're telling employees, see, all this while the managers would know that, this guy is a good performer, and in next 1 or 2 years, the person can be promoted. And that conversation either happens, or that conversation is only happening in manager's mind, right? Today, what we have done is we have put an entire career architecture framework for all employees, right? Where we are saying that, if you're in a current role, these are 10 skills you should have. These are 10 competencies you should have, right? And it is crystal clear, transparent to everybody. So there is no confusion at the end of the year, right? Now, in that career architecture framework, what we are also asking, let's say Lekha is the employee, we are asking Lekha to choose your aspiration also. And then the tool will automatically throw all the skill sets required for the aspirations you have picked up, right? And it'll also show you the gaps which you have from your current role to your aspired role. Now, this is all absolutely transparent between the manager and an employee as Lekha, right? So the conversation between an employee and a manager is as transparent as it could be, and say, Lekha, if you develop on all these skills, right, you have probably met, let's say, 50% of the criteria to be promoted, or 50% of criteria to move into your aspired role, right? So I think that is one of the biggest retainers for us, right? Because one, there's a lot of focus from the organization on the employees' aspirations, career aspirations, right? While we do a top-down approach of learning, where we are saying that your project needs this, your customer needs this, so please get into a classroom and do Python, for example. But from a bottom-up approach, what we are also figuring out is, Lekha, what is your aspirations, right? Where do you want to go from 1 year from now? And that aspirations could be like 2 steps from now, right? Or 3 years from now. But as an organization, what I'm telling employee is, if you do this, if you want to achieve what you want to achieve as an aspired role, this is the path you pick. And if you're able to do whatever is asked to do, right? And that could be training, that could be mentoring, that could be certification. There's a gamut of things which we have plugged in, right, in between, and said, hey, employee, this is what the path you should do, and you will be able to do. Now, why is it good, right? When we take a feedback from employees, they say the one common word which they use is, this is very transparent, right? It clearly gives me or tells me what I should do to achieve what I want to achieve, right? I'm not saying this resolves all my attrition issues, but there's a lot of focus, and there's a lot of traction on this whole rollout which we which we have done, and employees seem to be happy about doing these things, right? And when we roll out all these things, then when we put the whole learning journey, it includes all that Vidya said, right? Giving them a platform to practice, even though I think she spoke about enterprise architect, right? We might not have those roles at this point of time, but if somebody is aspiring to do that, aspiring to become that, we provide them the learning, and we also give them the platform to learn, right? They could fail, but they can still learn. So I think that's basically what we have from my organization, Vivek. That's how we deal with it right now.
From a technology's point, there are various entry points in a learner's journey. So the first entry point definitely is during the time uh, post the workshop. So post any workshop or something like that, most learners end up learning a lot of skills, but when they go for application, there's no technology associated with application. So that is one use case that we're trying to look at. And it's not something that we created, but it's called moments of time, where you say that you engage with a learner at the moment of time when the person is about to apply a particular skill at this point of time. So we're using technology there, where we are nudging people using bots, where we nudge people a day before, a day during that day, and a day after time of application, and look at confidence of the learners in applying skills and what is their insights that they gather from that. So that's how we're using technology there. The second place where we are also using technology, and we do a lot of leader assimilations into the company. And there are a lot of copious notes that all of us take up. So we use technology to synthesize many of these notes and pick up learnings with respect to that. The third place we also use technology is, we also have a lot of systems like performance management, tools to collect feedback, etc. We summarize all of that and say, see, at the end of the day, the learner is a single person. Different teams come together and sort of use the same, deploy things at the same person. So how do we look at different nodes in the journey, collect all those inputs, and synthesize and say, what are we saying for this person for this year? So that's also another way we use technology. We are now planning to use technology in delivering certain content and certain learning when there is a need. For example, let's say I am preparing for a check-in conversation, and I think most organizations would work on check-ins. A day before or 1 week before, they need to prepare. So what usually happens is, hey, are you ready? So that there is a bot that pings them saying, hi, hey, are you ready for this conversation? How prepared are you, etc. And then we use learning paths, 2-3 minute videos, which give them at least a toolkit for them to prepare a little more before they prepare for the conversation. It doesn't end there. After the conversation, they say how did the conversation go, what happened, etc. So that's how we're using technology to actually connect with moments which matters for the employee, and how do you make learning relevant for that person.